Hello guys, how are you? Good afternoon, all of you. So today is the last day of a session. So just tell me, are you all able to see me? How is the connection? Can you see me? Can you hear me? Any reply? So we will continue with our session. So before we start, I again request you to mark your attendance. Your attendance will be, there will be a link below the video, right? So there is a link in the video description. You go there and please mark your attendance, right? So this link will be visible only till the end of this session, or maybe after for 5 minutes or 15 minutes after this session. So I request you all, please mark your attendance in the link given in the description. Okay. So now I hope you are enjoying these sessions. So today's session will be dedicated to the web services. So I'll quickly revise what we have learned till now. So let us switch to Notepad. On day one, I talked about the manual testing. Here we learned definition of manual testing. Then we saw test case writing. Then we saw bug life cycle. Then we saw different study material sites, right? On the day two, that is yesterday, we talked about Selenium WebDriver. Here we saw how to download and install different supporting softwares. Then we saw how to set up Selenium project. Then we saw a login page automation and testing, right? So this was done till today, right? So today is the day 3, and day 3 is for API testing. APIs are also known as web services. So basically, some people will say API and web services are same. Some people will say it will different, but there is obviously significant difference is there in between API and web services. So please don't worry, I'm going to simplify each and everything, and you are going to understand it without any issue, right? So now, what is web service and what is API? So obviously both of the terms are used for example, this is API. When we talk about the API is application program interface. Okay, so yesterday we saw some jars, those we downloaded for Selenium, right? So those jars are, we can say that, supporting files or collection of classes having ready methods, right? So these are the API, right? So these jar were the API. So those Jarsware API, right? Now the API that works over the HTTP protocol, we call them web services. The API that works over the HTTP protocol, that is over the web, we call them as web services. So in short, I can say that all web services are API, but all API are not web services, right? So all web services are API, but all APIs are not web services. Fine. So let's just more simplify this. So why this API and what is the use of it? So let's move to the presentation. So API. Okay, this is the day 3. So today we are going to see why API, what are the web services, then introduction to SOAP UI tool, then downloading and installation of the SOAP UI, then calculator API. Okay, and of course testing of it. So why API? So you might have seen a website, makemytrip.com. In this website, you might have observed there are some services like airline booking, railway booking, hotel booking, right? So using this airline booking facility, we can book the air tickets of different airlines like Air India, Indigo, then EasyGo. With the help of this railway booking, we can book the railway tickets from the IRTC, right? So without opening the IRTC website, we can book the railway tickets from the makemytrip.com. Then we have hotel booking. So different hotels are there. They have their own individual sites, and we can book the hotels from makemytrip.com as well, right? So now you might have observed that booking tickets, for example, say airline tickets from makemytrip.com, will reflect the same things on the respective airline. Means, for example, there is an Indigo airline that also own the its own website, right? And it will also have the information even if it is booked from the makemytrips.com, right? So I'll explain you in this way. Suppose this is makemytrip.com, and here you do some booking, and for booking you provide your name, you provide your journey date, then you provide your phone number, you provide your email, right? And this information is given to the Indigo airline, right? So this information is there now with the Indigo airline website also, right? So now I'm not going on the makemytrip.com, I'm directly going on the Indigo airline website, and here also I'm doing the booking and I'm providing the same information, right? So actually the ticket is booked for the Indigo airline. So either you do it from makemytrip.com or you do it from Indigo airline, your booking is done, right? And Indigo online, which is mainly having your air ticket, is going to store your data. So from whichever site you book the ticket, either from MakeMyTrip or Indigo airline, right? So now how this happens? So how can we book the ticket from makemytrip.com, which actually belongs to the website Indigo airline, right? This is a question, and which is valid. So how could this happen? For example, booking as well as cancel booking as well, right? So cancel booking is also, if you do it from book my trip, make my trip, if I cancel the ticket, the same thing is going to reflect in this Indigo airline site, right? So if you cancel it from here, your entry will be cancelled from this Indigo airline websites as well. So how this is going to happen, right? So how does makemytrip.com can have the access to those functions? There some must be some functionalities written inside this Indigo airline website, right? There will be a separate database for Indigo airline website. There will be some functions written in the code of the website, and you might observe that this book might make my trip is directly accessing the functions like booking or cancel booking. So how this is happening? So one of the chance I can guess is that it might be like that Indigo website has exposed or given the access to its own database and function written in their application. Is it? Can it be true? Actually not. This is practically not possible. If you have certain web application and you cannot expose the whole database and all of its functionality to the public or outside, right? Practically it is not possible, and for but obvious reason there will be a security threat, right? Also, if suppose makemytrip.com, this makemytrip.com, this is written in Java, right? And this Indigo airline, this is written in PHP. So how it will happen? Actually, it is practically possible. You will observe that makemytrip.com is written in some other language, and the bookings you find for some other services are developed in some other language. So even if this airline, Indigo airline, is exposing its functions, so how this makemytrip will access those functions if it is written in Java and this Indigo airline is written in PHP? So this is the question, right? So let's try to find out the answer of it with the help of one real-time example. Suppose you go to a hotel and you want to order a food. There is a kitchen. But if suppose, let's say you are staying in Maharashtra, you go to some other state and you don't know the language of the people, right? So how do you convey your order to the kitchen? Obviously, there'll be a waiter, right? And let's suppose this waiter knows your language as well as the language of the people in kitchen, right? So what this waiter will do, it will take the instruction from you and will give the instruction to the kitchen, right? So kitchen people will understand it, they will process it, and they will give reply to the waiter, and you can and this waiter will come to you and will give you the response, right? So this will not have any issue then, right? So even if you have one language and the kitchen people will have uh, another language of speaking, so there will be one waiter who will be there for translating your language to kitchen people and kitchen people's language to you, right? So if you, the waiter will take input from you, send it to kitchen and reply it back to you. Okay, so now same thing happened with these two applications. Suppose this is application 1, makemytrip.com, this is application 2, Indigo, and there is a web service in between. So web service, what it does, it takes the input from this makemytrip.com and it gives it to the another application, that is Indigo. Then if suppose makemytrip.com is written in one language and Indigo is written in another language, so it translates them, right? So it understands the language of makemytrip.com, it takes the input, it gives that input to the application will respond to you with some output, and that output is given to this makemytrip.com like this. Okay, so these will be the 3 steps that will happen, and that is actually the job of web service, right? So web services are there. So in general, what is happening, you might have observed this Trivago website, right? So what do? They show all the hotels. From Trivago you can do the hotels booking, and they show all the hotels pricing, and you can compare the price, right? So how do Trivago know all the prices, right? So let me just take you to the practically on any website. For example, Make My Trip or Trivago. uh, trivago.com.in, or let's suppose makemytrip.in. Make my trip. So I have never used this Trivago, but let's just see. Let Pune, and let's just search for the hotels. So you see the Holiday Inn. These are the different hotels, right? Oh, your room is there, right? So you might observe that these hotels have their own sites also, right? To book, to do the bookings, right? But what they have done, they have exposed their web services, right? And people or the other websites can have the access to those web services, and they can use it into their own application, and that web service allows those particular websites to do the bookings and other activities, right? So this was all about the web services. So generally developers develop these web services. Developers develops web services. Okay, so you don't need to learn how these web services are written, right? So actually, as a tester, we should have the knowledge of testing the web service only, right? So it is not mandatory to know how these web services are developed, right? So as long as your job is testing, so it is you should know how to test the web services, and it's not mandatory to know how these web services are developed, right? So now I'm going to give you a quick demonstration of a web service, right? So there are several free web services available on net for a practice. So I'm going to show you one calculator API for you. So you can search on Google calculator API. Okay, so you can see here this website is for calculator web service. Okay, so here you can see service description is there. So if you click here, so this is actually the web service, right? So this web service is the middleware, you can say, and the URL of it, with the help of this URL, we can use this web service, and you can develop your own application. Remember that web services or API testing is also known as backend testing, right? So API testing is also known as backend testing, right? Here you don't check any interface. Here you don't test any graphic interface. You check the backend process, right? Means suppose I am sending some request, whether I am getting the correct response or not. Upon sending a request, do I get a valid response or not? So this is actually the job of tester, to send the request and check the response whether it is valid or not, right? So we have a tool to check this. Actually there are several tools like Postman, then you can also do it with REST assured APIs as well, but today we are going to see a tool that is SoapUI tool, right? So now using this SoapUI tool, I'm going to test this web service, and I'm going to demonstrate you how, right? So for that you can go to the Google and search SoapUI, or this is the standard website soapui.org, or you may just search SOAP UI download, and you will get this website. So soapui.org, or you may get the direct link to download, right? So either you can go to the direct website, that is soapui.org, and here you can see the download SOAP UI. Okay, so I think I have landed up on the wrong page. Here. So actually this first link was quite better. So let me just copy it for you, and I'll put it in the notes. Okay, so this is right. I'll be saving it for you. Save as, let's say, SOAP UI day 3. Okay, so from this link you are going to download the SOAP UI tool. So here you will see SOAP UI Pro, and here there will be SOAP UI open source version. So you click on this and download the SOAP UI free version, right? So here it is getting downloaded. So now I'll cancel this because I have already downloaded and installed it. You can download it and say it is also a simple process to install it. Just click next, it will be installed, and once it will installed, you will get some icon over your desktop. Here it is. Here is my icon, and the SOAP UI tool will open. Okay, so it is getting opened. Yes, here it is. So when it will open first time, you will see such a page, right? So as I have opened it several times, so I have created so many projects here. So you may find here blank, right? So now I'm going to create first project. There are two ways to create a project. Either you can click on here, file, and create new SOAP project, or you can click here on SOAP, right? So this is some version of the SOAP. I don't know. It is 5.5 version, right? So after some time, again I repeatedly say that its version will get upgraded, but the core functionality that we are going to learn today will not change, right? So only the thing is that this UI will change, something like that, or earlier these options were not there. The direct options for creating the project were not there. We used to click on this file and create new SOAP project, right? So now these options are there because it is upgraded. So even if after it get upgraded, so you don't have to worry. The core functionality is going to remain the same. You just have to learn the basics, and that will be applicable forever. Okay, so I'll create a new project either from here, or you can create here. So we are learning the SOAP services, right? The rest is another part. So we are learning the SOAP services. That calculator website is actually a SOAP web services. So I'm clicking on this, right? So let us give some name. So I'm giving some name that is webinar day 3 calculator. I have intentionally given some other name because there are so many projects. So in order to identify, I should have some different name. And in initial WSDL, right? So what is this WSDL? So look at this. This is the calculator SOAP UI. Yes, right. I'm just zooming it for you, just in case some people have problem to see it in the screen, right? So this is the calculator UI, the URL, and at the end you can see this WSDL. So this is web service definition language, right? Let me write it down for you. So WSDL, the full form of WSDL is web service definition description language. I think description language is this language. Okay, this is also one of the another file. I should save this also. So to day 3. Okay, so now this is also pronounced as WSDL, right? So this is another information to you. This is where it is. This is pronounced as WSDL. Okay, so you will observe that I'm pronouncing this as a WSDL from now onwards. So I'm just copying this WSDL URL. Here it is. So just copy this WSDL URL and paste it into the SOAP UI tool. The second parameter is the initial WSDL, right? So I have pasted it here, and now click on OK button. So here it is, web survey webinar day 3 calculator. So here you will see there are two things, calculator SOAP and calculator SOAP 1.2. Okay, so now actually there is nothing different here. All the services that are present in this SOAP calculator SOAP are there in this calculator SOAP 1.2. This is the version 2 1.2 and this is the version 1. So that's it. So if you just expand it, you will find the same things, that like add, divide, multiply, subtract, and here there are add, divide, multiply, subtract, right? So you can use either of them, but I'll prefer to use this because this is the latest version. And just expand this, add. Here there is a request. I'm double clicking on it, right? So you might observe a small code of it, right? So here in this XML code, you will find there are several lines of code, but out of which only the addition service I can see here with the help of this tool, SOAP UI tool. So here, if you carefully observe this request, so you may see this, it is taking two inputs. There are two question marks here, right? And as this is the request for add, that is addition, so it is taking two inputs. For example, I am taking two numbers, 20. So the addition of these two is going to happen, right? So I'll run this request from this play button. Just click here and see the output, right? So this is the output body, and here you can see the 54 is the output. Okay, so this is what it is going to happen, and this web service you can use for any web calculator application, right? So with the help of this input, the output is going to come. Now here again I'm telling you, you don't have to worry about how this is come, right? So you just have to simply understand what is the from where to give the input and where to see the output, right? So after a lot of practice you will understand, right? You'll understand this thing. So let's check another web service, that is divide. Okay, so this is request. Again there are two inputs here. So let's suppose I am writing first input as 50, second input as let's suppose 2. So 50 divided by 2, it should be 10. So let's run this request. Okay, oh I'm sorry, 2 divided 50 divided by 2 is 25, right? So this is the division result. Let's check another web service. This is multiply. Okay, so now if I put some let me just put divide 10 divided by or it is multiply, right? So 10 into 2 it is 20. So just see, output is 20. What is there remaining? Subtract. Okay, so subtract, if I say 50 and then let's say 25, so subtracting 25 from 50 will give me the result as 25, right? So like this. So in this way there are so many web services that developers creates, and we can check it from here, right? But actually this is not the correct way of testing this. This is just, you can see from here how these web services are going to are there inside this WSDL, and how these are working. So this is just a way to check the working of the web services. As long as testing is concerned, testing happens differently, right? So I'm going to show you some test cases, right? Or a test case, how to create a test case and how to test this web service, right? So for that you should have a test suite, right? To test a web service you should have test suite. So what is test suite? Test suite is the collection of test cases. What is test cases? We have already seen it. Then what is test case, or what does this test case contains test steps, right? So we are going to create a test suite, and inside that test cases, and inside that some test steps, and then we are going to check the output, or we are going to put an assertion to check this. Okay, so now, so just right click here and say new test suite. Okay, so I'll create one test suite. So the name to this test suite, let's say calculator test suite. Okay, calculator test suite. Fine. So now this is the test suite. I'll create a test case inside it. One test case. I'll say check all operations. Okay, check all operations is the test case here inside this. Okay, so here you have to create some test step. So this test case is for checking all the operations, right? So right click and let me add one SOAP request, add step as a step, and I will say addition, right? Okay, and I need to map or select, right? So here from this drop down you have to select add service from this 1.2 version, right? So it is mapped to this. Please click here the last one, that is create optional element, right? So here it is, right? So here it is created. Let's create another test step. It is again a SOAP request. I'll say subtraction. Okay, so now I'll select the subtract service. Okay, and say okay. Another step is done. Let's create another SOAP request, and let's say multiply. Okay, and I'm creating the multiply request. Again, I'm creating a division request. So divide. Okay, so now if you double click here, you'll see this the same web service, and here you can put your value as an input, right? So two inputs. So now you will ask me, so what is the difference if we do it here and here? So earlier also we have done this like this. What is the difference doing here or doing here? So here you can observe that here there is absence of this plus icon, right? Here you can see there is a plus icon. So when I click here, you can see add assertion window. So from here we can add assertions, right? So assertion is something that you put or predefined previously, right? And you check with the actual result, right? So at the end you are going to check whether the expected is equal to actual or not, and if it is equal, then our test is passed. So now 34 plus 20, the answer should be 54, right? So I am putting one assert, and there is property contains, right? Or you can go here property content, and you can see here contains. So it should, my response should contains 54, right? So say okay, and here the assertions we can see contains assertion, right? So currently the result is unknown because I have not fired this query, so I am just firing and it says failed. Okay, so actually okay, by mistake I have given the response expected response as 55. Actually the answer is 54, right? So I'll correct it. So my expected is 54, and when I run this, see it is now passed, right? So it contains a valid response. So like this there are several um, other assertions, like for example as this is a XML response, and you can see this is the status code is 200, so you can check whether this is a valid SOAP request or not, or you can check whether the status code is 200 or not. So for that, let me just check. You have property contains status valid status code, right? So you can check here. So let's suppose this is the 200, and if I say okay, so you can see because this request is actually executed, you can see this test is passed because it is green. So green means passed, red means fail. Okay, so if I suppose if I predefine the expected as 201, and you can see this is failed because it says that response status code is 200. It is not expected, it is not equal to the actual result, right? So similarly, there are so many other assertions here that you will understand when you will learn few more things from the SOAP UI tool, right? So this is also again a powerful tool, very powerful tool, with the help of which you can test your SOAP UI, right? So this was it. Actually, I planned for you from the SOAP UI, right? So SOAP UI or web services is a vast concept, and it is very popular too. As I always said, that you keep upgrading yourself because everything daily is getting upgraded, right? So earlier we used to get job with manual testing very easily, right? It's 7-8 years back. So after that, actually a saturation happened. So many people started going to the testing job. So there again came a criteria that you should not only have a software testing or manual testing knowledge, you should have a knowledge of automation as well. So people started learning the automation, that is Selenium, right? So of course Selenium has also scope today, but just having a Selenium knowledge is not enough, right? So you should have some more knowledge like API testing, then JMeter. You should have so many tools, awareness of so many tools, right? So learning has no limit, but still you can start from any tool like Selenium, API testing. You will have lots of tutorials available on the internet, on the YouTube channel. By the way, on my YouTube channel also there are some videos related to SOAP UI. You can go and check on my YouTube channel. I hope you have subscribed to my channel. So all of you guys, if in case if you are not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe. You are going to get very useful videos on my channel, right? So this was all about the web services or API testing. So now I am expecting some questions. So any questions, if you have, please put it over a chat. I'll read it out and we'll try to answer it as long as I'll try my levels best to answer those questions. If you have any questions, please do ask. Fine, thank you guys. You are putting so many nice comments. For example, Monica is saying good explanation, sir. Thank you, Monica. Professor Jayashree Zadav is saying informative session. Thank you, ma'am. Malti says very well explained, sir. Thank you. Then Professor Hanman says, right. Okay, I'm glad that you have got enthusiasm and interest into the technology, Monica. Okay. Uh, please ask any questions if you have, not only related to this web services, anything, any career related questions or anything else. What is the framework of API? Okay, API is not actually a framework. API is just an interface, right? And we have different tools to test web services like this SOAP UI. We have also Postman also there, right? Postman is one of the another tool. Let me just show you the interface of it. Right? Postman also does the same thing. So it is going to getting open. I'll just show you the interface of Postman. This is the Postman. This is also a tool that is used to test the API. Jayashree ma'am says we require one more day. Ma'am, you just stay in touch with me on my YouTube channel. You also have my email ID. You can contact me anytime. One question I can see. Please explain the web service again. Okay, Aishwarya, I'll share you a link of a video of it. You may go to it. This is just a 12-minute video. Let me just share with you. You should also keep this link with you. I'm just sharing this link with you. Here it is. This is You can go through that video. Sir, I am interested in testing but confused where to start. Aarti Bagmare says. Aarti, you can do one thing. If you have basic knowledge, then you can start learning programming. And if you don't have basic knowledge of software testing, you can do the free course from my portal, that is scriptinglogic.in. I've already told you how to sign up there and learn the free course of manual testing. Or you may just email me amol@scriptinglogic.com if you have any query specific to your software testing related anything. Professor Hanuman Jagtap says, sir, I want to learn Selenium and I'm good in core Java and advanced Java also. It's a good thing, sir. It's good that you know that core Java. Advanced Java is not at all necessary for learning Selenium. You may see the tutorials available on my website for learning the Selenium, and there are some paid courses also available in the market. Even I do some courses. At the end of the session, I'm going to give you the information of what I do, what are the different courses I conduct, what are the pre-recorded sessions that you can buy. So at the end of the session, I'm going to give you that information as well. Ghodke Pranita says, sir, which framework is more suitable for testing? Okay, we cannot say like that which framework is more suitable for testing. So there are many frameworks. As per the requirement, people choose the framework like Cucumber or Page Object Model for automation testing, right? API testing is a different thing. Then UI testing is a different thing. Functionality testing is a different thing. As per the requirement, the framework are chosen. So please explain which code you copy in the calculator example. Okay. I copied the WSDL. I haven't copied the code. I just copied the URL of this, right? So this URL I'm putting it into the notes, right? So this is the URL I put. Yes, this one. Calculator. This is the URL I put into the particular Sophia tool. Okay, sir. Thank you for organizing such an informative session. Thank you, Jyoti. Komal Nagare. Name of the common protocol used in API testing. Actually, there are two protocols used in API testing, and that is SOAP and REST. I've shown you the SOAP service. The calculator was the SOAP service. Actually, SOAP is a protocol, and the REST is not a protocol even. But both the services are used, REST as well as the SOAP protocols, right? To dev our own service, I need to know any language. Okay, to develop our own service, I need to know any language. Web service development is something different. Actually, I am not much aware of web service development, but I can give you so many examples of ready-made web services. Actually, I have some friends who develop web services. If you are really interested in that, you may mail me. I'll try to help you. Fine. So, any more question is there? Right? Fine. Okay. Thank you all for your comments. Again, I would like to tell you that if you have any more question, you can email me on my email that is given to you, amol@scriptinglogic.com. And at the end, I would like to give you a few information. I have some online courses. Actually, I used to take the courses in classroom, but due to this corona situation, now everything has become online. And I also used to take some classes online, but now everything is online. So even if you have even if you are located in some other cities like Ahmednagar or even in Pune at some other distance, so you can do my online courses. I take online courses like Selenium plus Cucumber. Herein I conduct complete in-depth sessions with core Java, right? Selenium plus Cucumber, these two frameworks I take. Its duration is 2 months. Then API testing, the complete course of API is there. And in API testing, I teach SOAP UI tool, complete demonstration of SOAP UI tool. Then Postman is there. Then Rust Assured libraries are there. So it's again a 2 months course. So these two courses I do conduct. Then Selenium plus Cucumber with Java. So there are so many batches are going on related to Selenium plus Cucumber with Java. There are some features of this course, like let me just show you what we learn in Selenium. Scriptinglogic.org, right? So this is my website, scriptinglogic.org. Here you can find the course content. I'll just quickly take you through the course content. So here it is Selenium, and you can also go to the scriptinglogic.org and get to know what are the contents in the different courses. So the core Java, complete core Java from scratch we do teach during this course, and we have the Selenium basics, right? So different frameworks like JUnit, TestNG, then how to create a report, how to take screenshot. There are data provider, and lots of things are there in the course content, right? So it is a live training. You can ask me question one-to-one. So complete core Java from scratch I teach. Then you get the access to the premium pre-recorded session for the lifetime. So all the courses are already recorded, and the access to them is given to you. And the fees for this Selenium plus Cucumber with Java is 10,000 only. And we have option of installments like 5,000 while joining and 5,000 in the next month of your joining date. And one-time payment is 9,500. So next upcoming batch of Selenium with Cucumber is starting from 8th June, and its timing will be Monday to Friday in the night. It will be in the night 9 to 10 p.m. and its duration will be 2 months. If you want to contact us for the online training, you may go to our website, or you may directly call to me, or you can call to our student counselor Kalyani. So these are the numbers, you may note it down, or you may email us on info@scriptinglogic.org. Okay. Of course, I'm going to share today's session, the video URL you are going to see, right? So again, at the end of this session, I would like to thank you to the VK Patil College, because this session was brought to you by Dr. Vittalrao VK Patil College of Engineering, Ahmednagar, in association with Scripting Logic. And at the end, I would like to thank the webinar coordinator Chaitanya Kalavde, HOD Anita Patil, and the principal UP Naik from VK Patil College of Engineering. Okay, thank you very much, guys. We will meet again. If you have any queries, you can email me, or we can meet on the YouTube or my other social handle. You can contact me on Facebook, LinkedIn. You can search me over there, and I'll be there in touch with you through other social platforms as well. So thank you very much, guys.